It began on a quiet Wednesday, the kind that slips through the cracks of memory unless something extraordinary happens. Rain soaked the streets of the city, and the sky hung low like it was too tired to hold itself up. That afternoon, a man named Adrian ducked into a small, forgotten bookstore on 7th Avenue, not for love, not for fate, just to escape the downpour. He had passed the shop a dozen times, never once stepping inside, but that day, something felt different. The bell above the door chimed softly, and the scent of old pages and worn leather filled the air, and that's where he saw her curled into the corner near the poetry shelf, wearing a wide-brimmed hat and an expression that said she belonged to another time. Her name was Elara. She looked up as if she had been expecting him all along. She smiled not politely, but knowingly, like she already understood the shape of his thoughts. That first conversation wasn't spectacular. Just a few words about books and weather. But somehow it was enough to start something neither of them had prepared for. They met there every Wednesday after that. No phone numbers, no addresses, no digital traces, just books, laughter, stories, and the kind of connection that exists quietly between the people who feel like old souls in a world too fast for them. Adrian brought coffee. Elara brought books. She was wild in the gentlest way, dancing barefoot between shelves, quoting forgotten poets, leaving notes between pages for him to find. She never spoke of the past, never hinted at the future. She only lived in moments, in Wednesdays, and then one day she was gone. No call, no note, no explanation. Adrian waited once, twice. A month passed. The rain came again. Still no sign of her. He asked the shopkeeper, an older man with a fading memory and thick glasses, but the man simply blinked and said, "No one comes here on Wednesdays but you." Adrian laughed, thinking it was a joke. But there was no trace, no record. No memory of Elara from anyone else. Maybe she was a dream. Maybe loneliness had invented her. Until the first letter arrived, a cream envelope with no stamp slipped under his door. In that delicate, looping handwriting he'd memorized. The letter said, "Dear you, if you're reading this, then I've already gone. Not far, but far enough. I was never meant to stay. I'm the kind of story that drifts in, leaves ink on your fingers, and disappears before the ending. But you reminded me what love feels like. You were real. And if ever the sky folds time in half, I'll be there, in a bookstore, in another city, reading something strange, waiting for you to walk in like the rain. Love." After that, every few months another letter would appear, sometimes pressed between books he hadn't opened in years, sometimes in his mailbox with no postage, sometimes taped to the inside of a cafe window just after he left, and each one felt like a heartbeat. Years passed. Adrian moved cities, changed jobs, watched seasons collapse into each other, but he never stopped looking for her. Sometimes on rainy days he would sit in bookstores, hoping, listening, wondering. He never found her again, not truly. But some say love doesn't always end in reunion. Sometimes it lives in pages and letters, in glances across crowded rooms, in the quiet belief that some stories are written across lifetimes. And so the letters from Elara keep coming, not to remind him of what was lost, but to promise that somewhere, in some quiet corner of the world, she still remembers him too.